Hello. All right, so we're gonna be doing. We're working for about approximately 30 minutes today, just doing some fine tuning on my drawing. I think right here, I started working on this earlier today, like right around here. So I'm gonna continue working here and then maybe go up here a little bit, and just think how I'm gonna approach other areas. But right now, I'm focusing on this. I'm gonna do a little bit of, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna add some colors, add some dark colors, light colors, and so forth. And it's going to make it all happen. Make it happen. That's what we're going to do. Hope everyone's enjoying their Sunday. It's Sunday? It's Sunday. Man, I don't know what day it is. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I normally don't do this, but this area is like a dark green. And first thing, I'm to add a little bit of purple in this area and then add a little bit of black because I kind of like the purplish black combination and not just doing a raw black tone. If I had a real, I'd use that. And I don't know, maybe I might do that, maybe I might not. We'll see, but I think what I'm gonna do is add like this purple here that I'm gonna mix in with the green, and that's a different tone. And then I'm gonna add some black on top of that because I wanna make this small area a dark green tone or darker because it's in the distance. And that's what I'm kind of seeing in the drawing here is like these darker tones. But I just don't have the color variation. So I gotta use what I have available to me. Now I have a, what's it called? I'm getting a little brain fog here. A new set of pastels. I have a new set of pastels, and it has significantly more colors to it than what I have available right now. I don't want that container because, because I don't want to use it because I don't want to have to integrate or introduce new colors into this drawing, because I've been doing all my studies with the color palette that I have available to me, and the color palette that I had available to me is not as robust as the new set that I got, and I don't want to introduce that new set of colors, not because I don't think it's going to make it better. I think it would certainly help, but sometimes you got to set like restrictions on yourself so that your drawing completed. So I'm kind of using that as an excuse to set restrictions on my drawing, restrictions on myself that I feel will as a whole. So I'm using purple here. I think I'm using purple. I don't think I'm getting my correct, honestly. So we're just going to have to play around with that. See what happens. Just taking my time looking at the I'm looking at the shape of my shadows and seeing if I'm getting them correctly. And I don't think I'm getting them correct. I think I have them in the wrong spot. And that's what's kind of causing to me kind of be at a loss at the moment. Tell you what though, it's not fun holding your pastel, like a pastel piece like this. Thanks, man. Thanks for the compliment. It's really difficult, but it definitely makes I wouldn't say difficult's a good word. It's definitely challenging. It's definitely it has its challenges. All right. So all in all, if I might end up working this small area for about 30 minutes. Just a little, it's like we're talking like a 6 by 4 area for 30 minutes. Probably about 30 minutes. I think that might be the case. I might end up working on this small area for about 30 minutes and come back to it later tomorrow. Just working around in specific areas that I think need to be. And as time goes on, I'm going to be more and more specialized. I might like maybe it's getting to the point where I'm going to be working in like maybe 4 by 4 inch areas for 30-minute sections, 30 minutes. And then that way, instead of just like, oh, this hour for this 30-minute block, I'm just going to work on the sky. For this hour, 30-minute block, I'm just going to work on the grass or the water. So it might be the point where like I'm going to work in this area for about 30 minutes. And then time maybe work in this area for about 30 minutes. And then just do that until I do the entire drawing and then do it again. I think I have approximately 10 to 15 hours more work on this, especially if I'm live streaming it. If I'm live streaming it, I'm obviously going to slow down. Not dramatic, definitely going to slow down quite a bit because talking and drawing at the same time can tend to work against you. It doesn't benefit me personally to draw and talk at the same time. It slows me down. It puts me at a handicap, honestly. It makes things challenging. So I put enough purple in the areas that I believe need to have some purple, and then as I said, I was going to use some black marking up these areas. And I don't necessarily. They're not oil pastels. They are dry pastels. I do not like pastels. I think the reason why is when I was a kid, I think I got like an oil pastel set, maybe for Christmas or something, and it traumatized me. So, dry pastels feel more like I'm working with like I'm just working with like it's just colored charcoal to me. You know, it's just yeah, it's closer to working. It's closer to charcoal than it anything else. So since I have a little bit of experience with charcoal, I have been using colored pastels. Maybe too dark, but I might need to overlay it with some green. But it's better than nothing. Do I have it in the right spot? Who knows? But yeah, these are dry pastels. And as I said earlier, I don't really particularly like using the black color on my drawings. But I've been warming up to the idea, especially if you have a limited color palette and if you don't have like the dark greens or the dark blues or the dark you need to use something to create a dark tone. And black is the only color that I have available. But the nice thing is it kind of blends, it kind of mixes with the colors below it. And so that's what I'm trying to do is mix the colors below or beneath the color that I'm applying on top. Now, I don't know if this is the right action actually, but I'm still going to work it all the way through. I'm going to see the idea through and then course correct later on if I need to. I rather like the purple, but I don't think it's the right color for it, honestly. But we're just going to keep working on it. And it might end up being that I have to put the black color on there and then apply like another green to kind of blend it together again. It's not what would you call it? Gosh, not it's not an ideal situation, but it is what it is, and I got to work with it. I don't like that phrase. It is what it is. I think because I used to work like these terrible warehouse like warehouse job type positions, and you'd have like managers or people above you that would use that phrase as an excuse to why you have to do like this, why you have to do this awful thing, like why you have to do this job, does this why we have to do this sucky thing, like we have to do something that sucks, like they like, oh, we gotta we gotta do all this work because someone messed me up top, and now we gotta fix that, do a correction, course correct, because someone made a mistake, and you're like, why do we have to do this job? Why do I have to do this? This is someone's mistake. Someone else, my boss or my boss's boss or the owner of this building or the owner of the company made this mistake. They should be held more responsible. And they're like, well, it is what it is. You just got to do it. I'm like, why not? But I can quit if I want to. I'm going to do it. Doesn't mean that it's any. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be happy about it. And they'll say it is what it is, and then they're like, they're mad. They're like insulted if you're not happy about doing something that sucks. Like, you should be thankful that we're paying you to do this. Like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm thankful that I get paid, but it still doesn't change the fact that this sucks. Okay? And like, well, find another job. Like, okay, I'll just go to the job store and find my job. Let's go find another one. And not saying it's easy to find a job or like, but man, I always had that. It is what it is, and I just didn't like it. I think they just abused that phrase. It was just basically an excuse to it was like a terrible situation, because always, that if you ever those like warehouse jobs, if you ever been to a warehouse job, I don't know if I don't know if that's dark. It's dark enough, and perhaps I need to make things lighter around it. Um, how awful they can be sometimes. They're not really, they're not always fun. It also has to, like, who you surround yourself at your work helps too. So if you have employees that you work around that are generally negative, they have a negative outlook, or they are not pleasant to work with. It makes it so that it's very it doesn't make it appealing to work in those situations. So I don't know if this is a good idea, but perhaps maybe later on when I come back and I look at it, like, oh, it's not bad. Just don't like how it came out. I think, yeah, I just don't. Maybe I might not like it how it came out, but it's okay. To me, I think the colors look kind of muddy, and I don't like how I don't like it when it does that. I don't like when colors kind of become muddy. But maybe from a distance, it might work. Because this area is really blurry. You know, got a chair blocking me from stepping back. I got to move this chair. Oh my gosh, I can step back for a second. It's okay. It's okay. But I wasn't lying. I said I was going to work in this area for 30 minutes, and we're at 16 minutes, and I haven't really moved much farther than this half-inch by 6-inch area. You know? So I was not deceiving you. I was like, I'm going to work in this area. I want to see where it takes me. And sometimes it's probably not in my best interest to be so detailed or try to capture everything in this area, you know? So probably not in my best interest. Add some yellow, a little bit of yellow here, just like then maybe some yellow. I don't know if I can get it on there. It's not doing what I think I've over blended this area now. I don't think I'm really going to be able to make much changes unless I erase some of it. And that's what happens if you over apply your color. You know, you can there you go. Let's add a little bit of white in this small area. It's kind of hard to because it's got over blended it, and then the colors are, you can't, it's hard to put details on the paper when there's too much color on it. So that's what I'm working with. So now I'm just going to move down a little bit. I don't know. I think I learned something with that experience. I don't think I'm going to do that again for this drawing specifically. We're just going to kind of avoid I'm going to avoid over blending my drawing. At least I say that now. Try to go on top of that or whatever. I don't know. Let's see here. Is this the right color? Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll use this color. I think perhaps I over-applied that right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. No, I don't know how I want to pursue these areas. And that's problematic. That might be an issue later on. Because it might cause problems with this drawing. But we'll work through it. We'll figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. You know? There's always things we can play around with. You know? Perhaps I'll add a little bit of orange in this area. I feel like there's some orange in there, and I just happen to have an orange pastel in my hand at the moment. I'm just going to add that in. I don't know if I like that. I really am. That's gonna bug me. I have. I kind of what was it? Messed up here. I messed up. But no one's gonna know. That's the good part. No one's gonna know I messed up. Because well, now they know. The person that hired me would have to go to this specific video and watch it and say, hey, did you mess up on this area? Now that you pointed it out, all I see is like, do you know what I messed up? No, they probably don't know. In my mind's eye, I messed up. To them, they might think this is fine, but I messed up. All right. Just thinking of how I can separate the. So this is supposed to be where the lake or water ends, and this is supposed to be the reflection. You know. And maybe I don't know what I was gonna say. Maybe do I leave this to be more raw and then maybe this blend make this more soft, or is it a color issue, or a little bit of both? Or maybe what I should do also is, in some of these areas, reintroduce the black. Yeah. I think I might need the black back on top again. But only in small areas, not like, I don't want to go crazy with it. And I want to, the reason why I want to introduce the black is so that the, this is separated from this, because this small little sliver is supposed to be farther away than right here. And so I got to lie, essentially. I got to figure out a way to make more depth in my drawing. And so that's what I'm kind of not struggling, but I'm working on. I'm trying to figure out how I can separate areas. So that's what I'm doing, I think. I don't know if I'm doing it successfully, that's for sure. But we're going to try. All right. Okay, I'm going to leave that like there. And what if it's also, what if I add a little bit of purple here? What would that, it's like a, maybe some purple. So that they're separated not just by being softer, but like this, instead of this is, so this is kind of green, like, well, this is green, but like, this is going to be like a, it's going to be a purplish green. It's going to have some hints. It's going to have a different tone, like range to it that the area does not have. So this is going to have like some purplish hues, maybe. If I get some teal, if I add a little bit of that there, just doing that might separate it. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I thought that was a long shot. Let's go back to my color. Kind of mix that in there. And perhaps when I come back to it tomorrow, and I come back to the drawing with different, like, a fresh pair of eyes, per se, I might be like, you know what, this it's okay. Oftentimes, though, like, we tend to like think that our how we're doing our drawing or how we're pursuing drawing, we tend to think that we do think that we're doing everything wrong, and then we only see like the bad parts of the drawing. And it's not the bad parts of the drawing that makes the drawing. You need to look at the drawing as in its entirety. And then it helps to come back to it after like a day with a new set of eyes, and then you can make more sound decisions regarding your drawing, regarding whether or not those implied mistakes or those things that you thought mistakes are actually mistakes. So you won't know. Like, you might know something might be very abundantly obvious early on, but sometimes the next day you're like, or the day that you're working on the drawing, you think, oh man, that was a terrible idea, because you did it kind of as a lark, or you thought it might be a good idea, and then you say that when you do it and you look at it, you're like, oh no, that does not look good. And then you come back to it after you've been away from it for a day or two or for 24 hours, and you come back to it and you're like, I think that's all right. I think those choices were all right, but maybe they weren't as executed as well as they could be. Maybe that might be the issue. There's a lot of things that could be the cause of why you think, or why some of the choices you made in your drawing might be the wrong choice. And sometimes you just need to kind of like step away from it for a minute. Because when you're working on something for a long time, you kind of immune to it, Terrible. It's terrible. Oh, it's terrible. We'll be all right. It's a terrible idea. But anyways, we're coming in on 30 minutes, and I think that is it for now. I'm going to come back to this, work on it. Need a little break from it, and then maybe we'll see. We'll be 1 hour closer to the finish of this drawing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Cheers. Drainage.